Hi guys, this is Footy Focus episode 6. You're here with Shahan and Shanika. Or Shez and Nax.
Come on man, get it right.
6 episodes in, I should know the name of our podcast by now. So, how are you going, Shanika?
Yeah, I'm good. How was the long weekend?
Yeah, it was good. We went pretty quickly as usual. Caught up with some friends. We watched a bit of the cricket last night.
Oh yeah, whose house?
Just one of our friends.
Okay.
So, it was actually a LAN party, so they were playing Dota, but I got the invite, but I watched them play a little bit, but pretty much watched the cricket, which is good. India had a lot of support. Did you watch a little bit of it?
India, Australia?
Yeah.
Oh, they got smashed, Australia.
Yeah, they did, yeah. I didn't watch all of it, just the first innings and a bit. But what did you do?
Oh, I didn't get that invite, but no,
you were busy though.
No, we just had some friends over Saturday night. Went to see. We saw Aladdin yesterday.
Oh right.
Yeah.
How'd you want to review it this week?
What'd you give it? 3. I'll give it 3.1. No, it was okay. Will Smith was actually funny, but it took him a while to get into the movie.
Yeah, he doesn't appear until like 20-30 minutes in.
We all found the girl to be better than the guy, as in the
acting.
Yeah,
right?
the Jasmine.
Jasmine, yeah.
To be better than Aladdin, but no, it was good. It was a good long weekend.
That was the first time you saw that movie, yeah? Like,
yeah.
Storyline and everything, yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, you should watch the cartoons, it's better.
Yeah, I'll get into it straight after the Marvel stuff.
So never. Yeah. Who's your character in Aladdin?
Oh, it has to be Will Smith's
genie,
character.
Yeah, Genie's
he's funny.
Cool.
Loved him since Fresh Prince.
Yeah.
I think everyone loves him. So.
Were you expecting any Fresh Prince references? I was when I was watching it. Like,
I thought there was one in the
and
dance, but actually it wasn't.
Yeah.
I think it was just a Aladdin related joke.
All right, enough Aladdin chat. 2 weeks in a row. How did you have an NBA update for us?
Yeah, so since the last pod, the Raps have gone up 3-1, so they actually 1 win away from the title.
3-1. So did they win away?
They won both games in Golden State.
Oh, that's ridiculous. That's a massive upset.
Massive upset. So yeah, Game 5's tomorrow in Toronto. So yeah, they should close it out. Hopefully,
they should win it.
Yeah, but I mean the Warriors have been up 3-1 before and they lost to LeBron James Cavs. So I think the key is Kevin Durant still hasn't played. Hopefully he can play tomorrow.
Why hasn't he played?
He hurt his calf in round 2.
So he hasn't been dropped or anything.
Well, they haven't needed him until now, but yeah, with 3 elimination games to come, they do need him. But I think the main question is Kawhi Leonard, he's the finals MVP at this stage, and Kevin Durant. They're probably the best 2 players in the NBA at the moment by far, and they're both free agents. So, after the NBA finals, free agency will really kick off, probably the biggest one in history. But enough about NBA. Did you watch tennis over the weekend, Shahan?
No, I didn't.
You did it?
But I heard about it. And then I read up a little bit about it, watched some highlights, and Australia have a new queen on the court.
Samantha Sosa?
No, Ash Barty. She won the French Open. Gold.
Oh, yeah. Saturday night, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I heard a bit about the semi. It was ridiculous. She was in the first set. She was 5-0 up.
Yeah.
5-love. Yeah.
That's a Monty.
Yeah. And then she lost it. She was playing a teenager from America. What's her name? Anisimova. And then she came back and won the first set. Yeah. It went in the tiebreaker, I think, like 7-6 or whatever. And then she won the second 2 other sets and got into the final against another young player. And then won in 3 sets. Right?
Yeah, so that's the first Aussie to win.
No, 2 sets. Sorry.
2 sets.
She smashed it. Yeah, 6-1, 6-3. Yeah, first Aussie since.
Was it Sam Stosur, I think, that won the US?
Yeah, I don't know.
So Sam Stosur, she beat Serena when Serena had that hizzy fit in the final.
Which one?
Which one? Yeah, good point. I think the first one she had, but Stosur was the last one to win.
Yeah, but I was reading she was. She's ranked 2 now, Barty. So since the highest for a woman, Australian woman since Goolagong. Goolagong, one of our houses in high school. Yeah, so it's really good effort. And she came from a cricketing background, yeah? Did you hear about that?
Yeah, she... we talked about depression a few weeks ago. She actually left the circuit at 17 or 18 and then went and played BBL for
Heat, yeah?
Yeah, the Brisbane Heat, yeah.
Yeah, the coach was interviewed and then... Yeah, so she's an athlete, so good on her.
Yeah, probably the best athlete in Australia at the moment.
Yeah, so... hopefully she's nice off the court as well.
Sounds very down to earth, I think.
Yeah.
I think they were saying her reaction wasn't, bragging, crying.
Yeah.
She just come on.
Yeah, I heard a bit of...
One swear word.
Yeah. She was on SEN yesterday, so I listened to a little bit of an interview, and yeah, she seemed really nice and grateful. So, good on her for winning the French Open.
So move on to something we are grateful for.
Before that, I just want to have some quick cricket news.
Oh yeah.
When I was researching, I was looking at India A versus Sri Lanka A. You know how I like my junior footy and the up-and-comers?
I like the NAB under-18, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so I was just having a look. So they're playing a third unofficial one-day international in Sri Lanka, I think.
Yep.
Well, it doesn't matter where it is. And India 8 for 291. And Sri Lanka's yet to bat. Yeah. But that's okay, I suppose.
So what's the score so far in the series?
I don't know. What is it?
So India's leading 2-0.
2-0, okay. So we've got a bit of work to do, but I had a look at the scorecard, and there's a bowler called Chamat. Here, wait, I think it's Kularatna. C. Kularatna. I think it's Charmiga Kularatna. 10 overs, 36 runs, 5 wickets.
5 wickets.
Maybe get him over to England.
Yeah, I think he could be our best player.
Yeah, he's pretty young as well, so we might have a future strike bowler on our hands. 23 years old, so give him a couple more years maybe.
Does he have a beer gut like Malinga?
I don't know. It hasn't got a photo. So I click on photos and... Nice. Hold on, there is a photo. Does he looks have a fit. Beer gut? Shaking hands with some white guy here.
Yeah, he looks fit.
Okay, yeah. No photos, but having a look at some other bowling figures, this guy called MD Shanaka, 2 overs, 17 runs. 8.5 overs. So.
Yeah, I got hammered today. Didn't bowl that well. So
should stay in the A's. Maybe demote him to the B's if we have a B's. But no, hopefully this other bowler who's actually good might get some games for Sri Lanka.
Yeah, bring him in.
Hopefully he knows someone in the higher up.
Oh, that's what you need to do to get a game these days. Yeah.
All right, that's enough cricket chat.
So yeah, something we're grateful for. Do you want to go first, Shahan?
Yeah. Okay. So this week there was a couple of upsets. I thought it was a pretty straightforward week for tipping, but Greater West Sydney, who are one of the hot teams at the moment, went down to Adelaide, and also West Coast, the reigning premiers, also they got smashed by Sydney in Sydney. So they haven't won there since '99. Did you know that? 20 years
99
in the SCG.
Oh wow!
At the SCG. Yeah. So this just throws it open. So I'm grateful for the fact that the top 4 is pretty open. Like apart from Geelong, who's gonna finish 1 or 2 most likely, the rest of it's pretty open. Like even Port, Freo, Adelaide, Essendon can creep in potentially.
Yeah.
What do you reckon?
I think Cats and the Pies are probably the clear 2. I think they're locks for probably top 2. I think. Mm-hmm. After that, I think it's open. It's very open. So
yeah, it got me thinking this year. It's pretty rare when the number 1 team wins the grand final, or wins the premiership.
Yeah, I think we'll get onto that a bit later. Good question about that.
Out of the other teams that can make the top 8, I reckon this year might be similar to 2016, where a team might get on a roll towards the end, like the Bulldogs did.
Just peak at the right time.
Yeah, similar to that. Because apart from Collingwood and Geelong, there's not many other consistent teams. Yeah. Saying that, I don't no disrespect for those 2 teams, but like a Port and Freo, I reckon would be my tip that can find a bit of form, get a few players back towards the end of the year. Yeah, especially Port. But
those 2 teams are playing each other next week, so
yeah. There you go. I'd be looking at that. Alright, it's a long shot. I mean, unlikely, but if they get into a prelim, you never know.
Yeah.
What are you grateful for?
Yeah, so Charlie Dixon, the return of
Yeah, it's a segue almost.
Yeah, exactly. Unintended. No, I think he's the key to Port finishing between 6th and 12th and winning a final. I think not many people remember that 07 elimination final versus the Eagles. They probably just remember Shuey kicking that goal after the siren, but Dixon dominated early. If he kicked straight, we probably would have blown the game open and won that game. So I don't think he should play next week against Freo. It's at not Subi, what's it called again? Optus Stadium?
Yeah, Optus.
Yeah, we shouldn't play him there, but I think the next week at home against Geelong we should bring him back, and I think he's just the barometer for us, I reckon.
He kicked five in the SANFL?
Yeah, 5 in the SANFL. Probably not the best competition, but hasn't played for a year pretty much, so...
Give him a couple more weeks in the reserves?
Yeah, hold him back. I think we can yeah, be patient with him.
Right. What about Wines? I saw he had a few touches as well.
Yeah, 32. So I think he's
first game back.
Yeah, first game back for a while. I think he'll come straight back in. He's the captain, so hopefully we can play both captains together for the first time in a while.
Yeah, good depth. And I think I read Willem Drew had a good game. Drew.
Yeah, he's a bull in the centre squad. I'm not sure why he's not getting a game. I think he probably just have too many inside players.
Depth, yeah. I reckon if Sam Pepper has a bad game, maybe drop him. Willem Drew.
Back in.
A couple of other things. Injured players. Callum Marty for Gold Coast Suns back, and he was our top-rated pick, so maybe he can come in as well. I know he's not going to have the impact Dixon does. And Carl Dunkley, your man from the mid-season draft, kicked 3, so he might be knocking on the door.
He's a goal-kicking midfielder. We keep telling him.
Melbourne went down today, so it might be a good time to make a debut, potentially after their bye.
Their season's over now, surely, after today's loss. So we move on to hard-hitting questions. So first sponsored segment, so it's presented by Guju's Cafe and Chat House. So
what house?
Chat House. So it's our mate Chats, who had his 30th birthday over the weekend. Loves his vegetarian Indian food, so...
Is it a vegetarian place?
Yeah, it's
Have
vegetarian.
you been there?
Well, he only eats vegetarian. It's a little place in Malvern, a little cafe.
What's on the menu?
It's pretty much just your standard vegetarian.
Like broccoli?
Like tofu and...
Yams?
Yeah. Not yams. They should serve yams, actually.
Right, maybe they have other vegetarian food. Alright, anyway, what's your question?
So I'll ask you about sure. Bryce Gibbs. So Bryce Gibbs, should he request a trade?
I think that's an interesting question, and I would, because he got dropped again. I think it's for the second time. He still has a lot to offer. He had 29 touches, a goal, and 7 clearances in the reserves, so his form's not bad. I think he's just not doing the defensive stuff properly.
Well, he shut down Oliver in the last game, didn't he, in the second half?
I don't know, I didn't watch it. Okay. Alright, so, I don't know, maybe he just doesn't fit into the mould, or... I mean, it's his second year playing, isn't it?
Yeah, he's still got 2 more years left on his contract.
Last year, I think the Crouch brothers had a bit of injury, so maybe he got a few games because of that lack of depth. But, yes. So, I think he still has a lot to offer. So, what do you reckon? Would he go back to Carlton? Would Carlton send a second rounder?
Well, they do need experience.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be a bad option, but...
There's no bad blood between Carlton and Gibbs.
I think the family thing's the only issue. I think he only moved back because of family, so whether his family were willing for him to go back to Carlton for a few years, I mean, that's probably the question.
I mean, he's in the twilight of his career. Like,
only
just
a couple of years.
Go wherever. Go to another club. Maybe, I reckon he could go to Fremantle. He might be good for them. Especially if Rio plays deep into finals. He could, and if Mundy retires, he could potentially be that player that helps Fife and Walters and helps, but just a bigger body there to let these Brayshaws and Cherers develop. So I think that might be a win-win for both clubs. But that's a good question. I've got one for you. Crows, I think they're 5th or something on the ladder. If they're to push any higher and become a premiership threat, which 2 players do you reckon need to stand up and start being consistent performance?
Oh, Taylor Walker's the obvious one.
Yeah, he's hot and cold, isn't he?
Yeah, well, he was hot on the weekend, and I mean, they won. So I think the last game he played well in was the Saints game, and they won that. So
yeah, I watched the end of that this week's game. He was really good in the last quarter. He was marking him, kicking. His field kicking is pretty good, so he was doing all that stuff. So
he's one, and the Crouch brother, is it Brad?
Brad's the one that's always injured.
Brad's the one. Okay, Brad. That's what I'm talking about. Well, the last good year he played, they made the grand final. So since then, I think he's a bit of a barometer in that midfield.
Yeah, he's probably the more talented one, whereas Matt's the more the ball-winning magnet. Yeah, that's a good answer.
So I'll ask you one, Shahan. Do you think the Cats are premiership locks, or you think they're peaking too early?
I think everyone should be tipping them as the premiers at this stage, but I do know it's pretty unlikely. It's not often that the top team wins the premiership. I think the last team to do that might have been Hawthorn a few years ago. Yeah. So it doesn't happen that often. It's hard to go past them, but maybe a bit. How did they play on the weekend? They smashed.
They smashed the Tigers.
The week before, it was a bit more of a scrappy win. So But
They just beat you guys a few weeks ago.
yeah, and that was another hard-fought win as well. So maybe they're not even playing their best footy. So and Joel Selwood's been injured. So
if you had to tip the flag today, who would you?
I'd tip Geelong.
Okay.
Second tip, runner-up, probably Collingwood.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, I'd say Cats, but
Cats.
I mean, there's like you said, there's still 4 months,
Yeah,
3
yeah.
months left, so a lot can happen in those 3 months. You
Yeah.
never know.
Okay, I might ask you one. Lions lost this week. A lot of us thought they would win. So is it a bit of? Do you still think they'll make the top 8?
I still think they'll make the top 8, but I'm not convinced they're a premiership threat. I pumped them up last week in the pod. It was a bit similar to the Dons loss, I think, at the MCG when they won the first 3 and then just got blown out of the water by the Dons in the first quarter.
They're still young, so they're prone to some weeks, weeks, yeah.
Inconsistencies, but I think what I said last, I think they're better than that. They shouldn't 40-3 up against the Carlton new coach.
Yeah.
They should just win. It shouldn't be a question. But they got let them off the hook on the weekend. I think they just thought it was all over at that stage.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they weren't switched on, or they've been up for a while. All right, we sort of forgot a segment. That's okay, because I don't have much to contribute to this one. But gambling has been an issue in the AFL for a few years now. Yeah, like Favola and Schwartz.
They're probably the two biggest names that have lost money. I think I brought this up this week because I think there was that article, was it in the Herald Sun or the Age, where they said 2 players are reported to have lost over $1 million. There's, I think, 120
ex-players or current day players.
No, current day players,
okay.
And 120. I think it was either players, coaches, or umpires that have issues with gambling. I think I saw this on Twitter the other day.
So this is players gambling on AFL or other sports?
Other sports.
Oh, okay.
I think they're a bit stringent on.
Yeah, they can't do it.
Betting on the same sport now. A few players have done it. But yeah, I saw this on Twitter the other day. I'm not going to mention the player because I don't want to speculate about players. But
did they mention the player in the thing?
Well, the player was dropped, and I think it was the SEN said this player's being dropped, and then scroll down on the comments. About 60% of the comments are saying it's because of gambling. Yeah, now, I'm not going to again mention the player, but just speculation. I mean, again, if a player's got an issue, I don't think the public deserves to know, but it is an issue, and it's not just in AFL, it's in society too. You're talking about young players with a lot of disposable income, a lot of downtime. I mean, they're not required to be at the club every week. With the PA, they have a couple of days off every week. So it is a major issue, and probably not as big as depression, but it's probably the second biggest issue there. I mean, you've put a bet on yourself.
When?
And I've put bets on. No, just in general. You've put bets on.
To do what?
No, just on sports. I mean,
keep losing though, but I don't do it that often.
Well, I mean, there's people that put $10 lose and then keep putting the bet on. It's like a bit like the pokey machines, keep putting the money in until they win, which they never do. So, I think it's just an issue which it's pretty prevalent these days, and I'm not too sure what the solution is. Whether it's more education. I think one of the issues I think Caroline Wilson said was the senior players are the ones doing it, and then when the young players come in, they're kind of getting mentored by the wrong people.
So the young players don't really do it, but it's the senior.
Well, when they go into the club, the senior players have not that issue, but they're already gambling, so the young players kind of follow them.
Okay, so what if for young players, they get paid thousands of dollars?
Yeah.
That money, does it go straight into their account, or is some portion of it withheld? Should they do that? Should they?
Yeah,
withhold
I think that's a good thing.
Until they're 21 or something?
Well, some players let either their manager or maybe their parents handle the finance type of things, take a bit out for themselves, whether it's for groceries or things they need.
Living expenses.
Yeah, living expenses. I think that's not a bad thing because, I mean, I don't think every 18 or 19-year-old can handle that much money. So maybe that's not a bad thing. I think more education as well. You see what they do with educating players about violence against women and all those type of things. I think that's probably the next step. So,
I know maybe they have to justify how they're spending their extra money outside of the living expenses. But it is a grey area and it's a bit of a tricky one. But maybe it's just a solution.
Yeah. We'll see.
Because it's not only gambling yet. They do use it to do drugs and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. They might need if you play for Collingwood, a tattoo expense, maybe.
Well, Dane Swan does it all for them, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So move on to...
I wanted to mention something else. Oh, shit, I forgot. No, keep going.
Just bring it up if it comes up.
Yeah, okay.
So we've got underrated players this week.
Mm-hmm. Do you have one for us?
Yeah, so mine is Cameron Guthrie.
Mm-hmm.
He's number 29 from the Cats. I think it's probably...
He's been in the system for a few years. For a while.
He was drafted in 2010.
Yeah.
He's actually, a bit older than I thought. Pick 23. I thought it had to be a player from the best team this week, and Cats are, like we said, far
Speaking
ahead.
of the Cats, I bumped into Gary Rowan earlier.
Oh, the Ranger?
Yeah.
Oh, you said that?
He's tall.
When was this? When was this?
Just after the game on Friday.
What time was this?
It's after midnight. So
What were you doing at midnight? Okay.
I was at Crown, actually, speaking of gambling. But no, I didn't put any money on. But yeah, he was just with a few friends, non-AFL players, shook his hand, congratulated him on a good game, asked him how many goals he kicked. He responded with just one.
Just one? Oof.
Yeah. But yeah, he was pretty nice.
Did you congratulate him on the season today? Not just today?
No, I didn't mention. We gave him a few shout-outs. I should have mentioned that.
Okay.
Yeah.
We might tweet him at him this week. Get a follow. He's averaging, Guthrie, 21 disposals, 6 tackles and 4 clearances a game. Re-signed last year until 2021. I think, you can see similar type players like Holland Smith and Murdoch. The Cats are pretty happy to let go of them. But obviously Guthrie was prioritised. So, he's just, does the job every week. I think, he's probably a key, just one of those guys which is, the glue to their team. So we'll see how he goes in September. But he's my one.
Is he tagging or not really? He must be a bit more defensive. Than
he's not.
Others,
Cats don't really operate a tagger every single week. I think when there is a player that gets on top, then Guthrie's the one that goes to that player. So, how about you, Sean? Did you have one this week?
Not so much an underrated player, but I want to give a shout out to Will Brodie from Gold Coast. I think it's his third year in the system, so it's a high draft pick. He was in his draft year. He was once rated as number 1, but he slipped a bit because of his lack of space, and he plays a bit more inside. And normally the top end picks have that classy outside disposal. But he had a really good game on the weekend against the Kangaroos. Matched up on Cunnington for most of it, and I thought he almost matched him. The coaches' votes came out today, and Cunnington got 10 votes, but Will Brodie got 1. So it's really hard to get coaches' votes. So he still did pretty well. 29 disposals, 7 tackles. So that's a really good effort. And I think we need to start talking more about pressure acts as a podcast. The AFL app has it, and he had 27 pressure acts. It was the second most of the game behind McPherson's 33. And like the mainstream media make a big deal about possessions, goals, and meters gained and stuff. But I think pressure acts might be a bit of an underrated stat.
What's the key? I mean, that's Tigers and Bulldogs won premierships on the back of that. Pies last year jumped.
Exactly,
because of that as well. So, it's good point.
Yeah. And I'm sure Cam Guthrie would be right up there with pressure acts.
Oh, yeah.
And I will also, talking about how Will Brodie it was like his breakout game. A game where he sort of started and got a lot of the ball and did what he does. He kicked a goal as well, I think. So, and that opportunity was given because the Suns midfield is a bit injury hit at the moment. No Bose, and the co-captain Miller came back, but he was a bit injured and he was playing forward a lot. So, Brodie was in the guts. And I like that. Like when Essendon had those players banned a few years ago, gave the opportunity for Matt D, Tippin Woody, Mitch Brown maybe, to stand up and
accelerated their development.
Yeah, exactly. You just find players because coaches are too safe. They just keep playing the same players in the same positions and just don't give opportunity to the young guys. So no, it was really good that Stewie Jew threw him into the guts. So Higgins is out for the Kangaroos with an injury. So hopefully Reece Shaw can do the same thing and maybe give a young midfielder some more time in the guts.
Yeah. So move on to the All-Australian Smokey. Do you have
one? Because I've been talking. Why don't you talk about Patrick Cripps? Maybe this could be the hot
Hot
take,
take,
and
yeah.
I'll go on to the other one later.
Yeah, so...
Did you watch a bit of the game?
I ended up
Highlights?
watching them. Didn't plan on watching any of it, but I ended up watching most of it.
Because you guys didn't have a game. Because you
Yeah.
guys didn't have one, so
Yeah,
you
so I
had
had to
a
watch-
free 3 hours.
Yeah, I thought that'd been the worst game of the week, but probably not been the best. Patrick Cripps, I think this man, you just can't give him enough credit. He's...
Firstly, let's just say what happened.
Yeah.
So Carlton sacked their coach earlier in the week, and
Yeah. On Monday, was it?
yeah,
Monday?
very early. And Brisbane were red hot favourites to win, and Brisbane kicked the first 5 goals. I
Yeah,
think.
40-3 up at
yeah.
one stage, yeah.
Yeah, and then Carlton came back and won the game thanks to Paddy Cripps.
Yeah, I think that's probably... Yeah, it's been said, but I think that's the best game someone's played this season. He's... Yeah, it just looks like a bit like school footy when you have like 5... Like, all the players, and then you got this one like kid you think he's like 5 years older than you.
Yeah.
It just looked like that on the
just
weekend.
huge, yeah.
Kicked 4 goals, which is that was the difference in the end. That goal when he just burst past Daniel Rich made him look like a schoolboy. I thought that was the goal of the season.
Took him on, yeah.
Yeah, I think talking of like contracts and things like that, I think he should easily be. Yeah, if there's going to be a $2 million a season player. He should be it. The Blues should just do whatever they can to keep him at the club for life. Just sign him up. Yeah, now.
23 as well.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
Still
that's
got like maybe 7-8
Yeah,
prime years.
Well, it's not just that. He's just oozing leadership. Like you see after the Pies loss where he's swearing and just really disappointed.
Yeah.
That's the type of leader you want.
Yeah.
Especially with Doherty out for the whole season. He's just lifting that club up. So
Did you hear that he was they interviewed him on Triple M or something a couple of weeks ago. They asked him if Carlton keep playing average footy and are cellar dwellers for a few more years and say at West Coast. He's from WA.
Yeah.
Made an offer to bring him and potentially win a premiership in his last few years.
Yeah.
Would he go? And his answer, do you know what his answer was?
Yeah.
Yeah, he said he'd rather stay and help build Carlton, because if he does that and then Carlton win a premiership, it would mean a lot more to him than going to a top team and just winning being just a cog in the machine and winning a final. So that's really, I thought that was really passionate and shows his loyalty.
Yeah, so I got to disagree with you last week. I think you said Kelly was the best player in the game. I think Cripps, well, this week, I think it probably changes from week to week, but I think Cripps is my best player of the comp at
Saying
the moment.
that, Kelly did get 8 coaches' votes.
Kelly's a star,
They're 1 and 2. Do you know who number 3 is for the coaches' votes?
It's not Boak, is it? Boak was 4th.
No. Maybe
Cunnington?
Yeah, it's Cunnington.
Oof.
But Cunnington, he does have an extra game. Well, a few of the players have extra games on Boak. But no, I reckon. Yeah, Brownlow should be interesting this year.
Okay, we'll move on to your All-Australian Smokey this week, Shahan. You got a good one.
Yeah, I watched a bit of Sydney and West Coast last night. And Tom Papley, he's killing it at the moment. He's having a really good year. 22-year-old rookie from the Gippsland Power. He drafted a few years ago, but now he's playing more midfield time. And he had 27 possessions and 5 goals against West Coast.
5 goals?
Yeah, Buddy and him both kicked 5. Yeah, he's really killing it. He's provides that bit of zip and spark to their midfield, which is otherwise pretty slow. And it's got a bit of the hard edge to him as well. So there's a bit of talk he might be traded, and I read North might offer.
So if you had a choice between Franklin and Papley
to come to North,
no, just for Sydney to keep, would you keep Papley?
No, you keep Franklin.
Okay.
But Papley, you'd want to keep him as well. But if a club if he wants to come back to Melbourne, what do you think he's worth on the trade table?
Based on this season's form, probably at first, mid to late first. How about you?
Oh, no, I would give early second, maybe.
Okay.
Early second.
Still a high pick.
Maybe early. Yeah, it's still 20 to 25 pick. Maybe a pick swap later on. But I think to be mid first round, you need to be that classy.
Yeah.
Like Polak, I think we got a good deal for that. He's playing.
He's actually playing well to give him credit.
He's kicking good goals, and he's finally, because the team's playing better, he's benefiting from that. So.
What do you think of his goals? He seems to kick like a classy goal every week.
Yeah, it's got a good left foot. What else?
I think that might be it for today.
Yeah, it's a bit of a short episode, but we did go for half an hour, which is pretty good. Might not have to edit this.
Yeah, that's good. So maybe talk about the topics we got coming up the next couple of weeks.
Oh yeah, do you want to offer an apology because you did promise we'd talk about a certain topic this week?
So the Goods doco, it got released on Friday at the Sydney Film Festival. So it hasn't actually been released in Melbourne yet, so we don't really want to talk about it until we've watched it. So
yeah,
we will try and get an illegal stream, and then as soon as that's done, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
First pod after that.
Maybe give up. What was your second unofficial sponsor?
Unofficial sponsor.
Well, that was a hot take, by the way. Sorry about that.
The hot take was presented by Garnier Fructus. So it's the shampoo that Shahan chooses to use.
No, I don't. I use Head and Shoulders because I have dandruff.
Okay, I've seen that in your shower, but okay.
What are you doing in my shower? All right. Cool. I think that's a wrap. I think. What do you want to promise? We'll talk about next week and not deliver. Concussions, maybe?
Yeah, maybe concussions. We'll stick with concussions next week, I think.
We'll do that. I'll do a bit of research.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have a guest on, the doctor. No, maybe not.
We're promising now, okay.
Alright, cool guys. Thanks for listening.
Okay, see you next week, guys.